Subscribe, nga like, ngaleteo vitu mzuri na yunguko hapa hivi pedeshe moja mzuri sana nguko leta vitu fresh baba.
Wa Munyinyi TV on YouTube, please subscribe, share and press notification bell. Akiweka tu gossip hivi, mtakuwa kwanza kuona mwashene, weka mwashene.
Selecting 7th July as the launch date for demonstrations focused on demands for repeal of the Finance Act 2023 that underpins President William Ruto's first budget might indicate opposition leader Raila Odinga's exquisite sense of timing or show up a leader hopelessly trapped in history. For an older generation, July 7th or Saba Saba marks that portentous day in 1990, which signaled the beginning of the end of one-party dictatorship in Kenya. It is a day revered for the unprecedented defiance in a police state era when even with their leaders arrested, thousands of citizens headed calls to attend a pro-democracy rally at Kamukunji grounds to push the drive for an end to dictatorship, then exemplified by President Daniel Moi's monolithic KANU machine. Police out to disperse the crowds by whatever force necessary, met a populace no longer cowering in fear. The battles between police employing tear gas, truncheons and bullets up against youthful, stone-throwing protesters not only became the stuff of legend, but was widely recognized as the turning point in the struggle for democracy and human rights. That was the day leaders of the nascent democracy movement, including a youthful Raila himself, fellow young Turks such as James Orengo, now Siaya governor, and lawyers Paul Moite and Gitobu Imanyara, who both later became MPs, and campaign icons Kenneth Matiba, Charles Rubia, Martin Shikuku, and Raila's father, Odinga, called a rally at Kamukunji to press the campaign launched for months earlier for revival of the multi-party system. The rally was declared illegal, and on the eve of the day, key proponents Matiba, Rubia and Raila were arrested and thrown into detention cells. Those were the days the government had power to arrest and imprison without trial any person it wished to restrict. One of the lesser-known victims of the arrests was a young lawyer in Muite's farm, Mohammed Ibrahim, now a Supreme Court judge. Muite escaped the dragnet and went into hiding, while a legal colleague, Gibson Kamau Kuria, sneaked out of the country ahead of his pursuers. But a few of the key campaigners, Shikuku and Orengo being the most prominent, eluded police. On the material day, they sneaked past the security cordon and drove triumphantly towards Kamukunji, making one of the most iconic photographic images of Saba Saba. More than 30 people died, nearly all the hands of police. More than 1,000 were arrested and charged with a variety of offenses around illegal assembly and processions, breach of the peace and disorderly conduct. The state won the battle but lost the war, for by the end of 1991, the once impregnable Moi regime relented and acceded to demands for an end of one-party system in Kenya. Since then, Saba Saba has been the rallying cry for numerous initiatives aimed at transformation of the constitutional, legal, economic, and social landscape. This was the most evident after Moi returned to power in 1992, when civil society luminaries led by lawyer and former political detainee and exile Willy Mutunga launched a drive for constitutional reform to place the country on a firmer democratic ground. The campaign picked up steam ahead of the 1997 elections by choosing July 7th as the launching pad for monthly demonstrations, to be followed by Nane Nane, 8th on August 8th, Tisa Tisa, 9 on September 9th, and so on. The demonstrations, which turned into running battles with the police, combined with plans for a national convention that aimed at proclaiming its sovereignty, forced Moi to give way. The outcome was the inter-parties parliamentary group talks that effected limited constitutional reforms before the 1997 general elections. But the spirit of Saba Saba, also referred to as the spirit of Maandamano, after the church hall next to the University of Nairobi that was the nerve center of the campaign lived on. It was crucial to final realization of the new constitution in 2010, midwifed by the President Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga, who was premier in the Grand Coalition government. It is thus easy to see the spirit Raila seeks to invoke by settling on the coming July 7th at the launch pad for demonstrations. The opposition veteran had launched these demonstrations in March as part of continuing protests against Ruto's electoral victory. His key demand was open the server, as he sought to prove his contention that scrutiny of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission election results database will show that he was the actual winner of the August 2022 presidential election. For good measure, he also sought to tap into growing public dissentiment with the Ruto's Kenya Kwanza administration by demanding reductions in the prices of food, petrol, electricity, and other basics. Eventually, Ruto conceded to some extent by agreeing to dialogue, which was to be driven by 14-member parliamentary team with equal members from Kenya Kwanza and the opposition Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance. The talks never really got going, and Raila had already suspended The talks never really went going, but Raila had already suspended participation by the time the finance bill, which details the revenue raising and spending proposals of the Ruto government, made it to parliament. Raila had said that if the finance bill passes the parliament, he will take the next action, and now the action is coming. You know, Kenya Kwanza used its numerical muscle to force easy passage of the bill with the contentious taxation proposals intact, and that provided the perfect excuse for Raila to take the streets again. It was at the public consultations at the Kamukunji grounds on Tuesday that a series of resolutions were passed, including pulling out of the parliamentary talks and starting a nationwide demo to press for recall of taxation laws. But it was not just about the finance bill. Speaker after speaker at the rally dwelt on the forcing Ruto out of power. His 2022 presidential election running mate Martha Karua and other Azimio principals such as former defense CS Eugene Wamalwa and former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya said the ultimate aim is people's power, removal of the Kenya Kwanza regime. The Azimio luminaries may well be confident that in pushing through highly unpopular taxes, Ruto has given them the rope to hang him. They talked of extending protests that were previously confined to Nairobi and Kisumu to all parts of the country, citing the fact that high taxes and increased consumer prices. I don't know about you, but many people are complaining that everything is up. Remember, right now, 1 liter of petrol is at 200 shillings. Raila gave a long history of Saba Saba, concluding that the spirit which forced strongman Moi to give way should have no trouble sweeping Ruto away. July 7th, 1990 will be 33 years ago to the day to come Saba Saba 2023. A quick review of video footage from last Tuesday Kamukunji rally showed that a clear majority of those in attendance were young men and a few women in their late teens, at best early 20s. The sole aftermath of the Finance Act might provide fodder for the captive ears in Mombasa and other parts of the coast region, western Kenya, eastern region, and probably pockets in some urban areas of Kenya Kwanza stronghold in the Rift Valley and Mount Kenya. The intensity will depend on if Raila still has the capacity to mobilize, organize, and countermeasures government will deploy. Remember, the government will always fight back. Please keep subscribing.
Subscribe, nga like, ngaleteo vitu mzuri na nguko hapa hivi pedeshe moja mzuri sana nguko leta vitu fresh baba.
Wamunyinyi TV on YouTube, please subscribe, share and press notification bell. Akiweka tu gossip hivi, mtakuwa wa kwanza kuona mwashene, weka mwashene.